Linux is the most widely used operating system on the planet, and most people have no idea that they're even using it. It powers your phone, it runs the websites you visit, lives inside your smart home devices, your router, or even your car. From billion-dollar data centers to the gadget in your pocket, Linux is everywhere. And yet, it somehow flies completely under the radar of the everyday person. They don't even think that they're a Linux user. Now, Linux was started back in 1991 as a passion project by Linus Torvald, Finnish student who wanted to build a better OS. At that time, Unix was powerful, but expensive and locked down. Torvald made Linux free and open source, meaning anyone could contribute and improve it. That single decision changed everything today. Today, there are tens of thousands of contributors and over 27 million lines of code in the Linux kernel. Now, think about it like this. Linux runs the internet, yet over 96% of the top 1 million websites run on Linux. Facebook, Google, Amazon, YouTube, all powered by Linux-based infrastructure. Even Microsoft's Azure cloud platform offers Linux VMs as a first-class option. But it goes beyond that. Think about the phone in your pocket. Not if you're on iOS, but Android is built on a modified version of the Linux kernel. With over 3 billion, that's billion with a B, devices, Android is the world's most popular OS by far. That means Linux is too, quietly sitting at the core of many people's mobile lives. So yeah, if you're watching this on an Android phone right now, surprise, you're already a Linux user. You just didn't realize it. Linux is also in your living room. It runs smart TVs, routers, thermostats, even refrigerators. These embedded systems need a lightweight, stable OS that can run on low-power chips, and Linux nails that. 80% of smart TVs run Linux, and 70% of smart home devices use embedded Linux. And then we can go to supercomputers and science. Since 2017, every single one of the top 500 supercomputers in the world have run on Linux. These systems are solving some of the biggest problems in science, from creating climate simulations to medical breakthroughs. And that same OS that runs your Wi-Fi router also runs the machine mapping our galaxy. It's crazy when you think about that. Also, let's think about the cloud. This is Linux country. Modern cloud computing is built on Linux. Tools like Docker and Kubernetes, which change how we deploy and scale software, were designed for Linux. And 90% plus of public cloud workloads run on Linux. But why isn't it on more desktops? Well, Linux has struggled on desktops, mainly because of the user habits and software compatibility. We've got just like Photoshop, obviously Microsoft Office. They're not really supported natively, and professionals need this software. But that is changing. I use Linux for development, and for me, it makes perfect sense. But even for people wanting to use things like gaming, Steam has made it so much easier to use that with the Steam Deck bringing Linux to gamers. And I think that as we go forward, this shift is going to continue to accelerate. But even that being said, if you're not using it on a desktop, you're probably still a Linux user. So yeah, Linux, for some people, might not seem flashy. But that depends on the distro that you choose. And it might not be the OS on the most desktops. Again, there's distros that are being used and some that aren't. And the fact that Linux has so many distros makes it feel like it's somewhat set into segments. But if it runs your phone, it runs your websites, and it runs a service that keeps the modern world online, chances are that therefore you use Linux every single day. You just didn't know it. So the next time someone says, nobody uses Linux, you can smile and say, well, actually, we all do. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.